I would talk myself into it either way.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
With him currently not on the Chiefs team, I'm saying Watson, Williams, the plethora of dudes who are wide receiver threes can find a way to have the aggregate of CB2 production, which they did last year.
No, absolutely. I think so too, but like if they wanted to sign him for like $5 million.
1 for 5 was exactly what I was thinking. I would also be like, okay, fine, I'll talk myself into why this is a great move.
Right.
Yeah.
And they'd still have $10 million of cap left over.
To give to you and me.
Yes. So we can split it between us. That would be nice.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Hello and welcome into this week's edition of 21 Questions here on KC Sports Network, presented by our friends at Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer. We'll tell you more about those folks later. They do phenomenal work. If you haven't listened to 21 Questions and haven't heard us talk about Braden's Hope yet, you're in for a treat. We're going to tell you a little bit about them, but I'm Tucker Franklin, joined today by my pal, my buddy, Sterling Holmes. Sterling, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. It's a great day to have a great day. How about yourself?
I'm good. We're recording this on the last day of Chiefs camp. Chiefs have wrapped up camp. I think some players might have beat me out of St. Joe, truthfully. Those guys were ready, took it out of there, and truthfully, I don't blame them. Because this last week, from all accounts that I hear from former players and everything, this week here, after the first preseason game, a tough one to come back to St. Joe to. And I cannot imagine what it's like to travel to Jacksonville. So, like, that's St. Joe equivalent, I would say. Just a larger St. Joe, Jacksonville is. Do we just sort of dog walk on different cities in the Union? Because I can definitely go Oklahoma City next if we need to. I can just go to different ones. We can just dunk on cities.
Damn, why you dunking on cities, dog?
I'm passionate about how I like my cities. St. Joe, not the way. Jacksonville, not the way. Kansas City, yes, I like that city. Good city, Kansas City is. But I cannot imagine what it would be like to stay in St. Joe for that long, especially on that campus. Go Cats! But I've been having a good time. I'm very glad to not be driving back to St. Joe for a little while.
Yeah, that's a non-fun drive. Not a fun drive.
Right, and there's nothing in between Kansas City. Like, I live on the Northland. I live in the Northland. So I'm on, like, the north end.
Oh, why are you
Kansas
complaining?
City.
Don't be an ass. I'm South KC. That sucks.
At least you have something to drive through.
I'm adding a half hour.
Well, yeah, you are, but, like, the drive still sucks.
Oh, grow up, dude. I didn't know you lived that close. Oh, dude, now you're just, I live so close to St. Joe.
Yeah, I live that close. No one should live that close to St. Joe.
I didn't know you. Well, see, you're a grinder. You live in the Northland just because it's close to St. Joe. That's just a smart business decision. Smart.
That's a good point. I'm about to move, and I'm not going to be close to St. Joe. So next year might be a little bit of a different situation when it comes to the training camp grind and everything like that. But training camp's wrapped up. We got questions and people asking the KCSN Discord. If you want to be a part of that KCSN Discord, you guys probably know the drill by now. You can go to kcsn.substack.com. It'll take you there. $30 a year, $5 a month. You get access to our KCSN Discord forever. I don't think we've ever kicked anybody out because you guys are cool. So you have to be cool to join the KCSN Discord. This first question here is from John Does Stuff. John asks Sterling and I, which is the bigger lie? The preseason depth chart or Andy saying the starters will play a quarter?
Oh, Andy. They're both big-time lies.
Yes.
But Andy Reid. The starters play the first quarter. I love also the second preseason game. Yes, starters will play the first half.
Uh-huh.
If by half you mean Mahomes is playing 2 series, then sure. You'll see some more of the offensive line and more of the, I doubt you'll see much Travis Kelce, but I'm assuming 87 and 15, they get about 2 to 3 series max. So I'll say that's the bigger lie.
I think so too. There is some truths in the depth chart, at least. There are at least some truths in it. Doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of truths when Andy Reid steps up there and says that they're going to play a quarter. Yeah, that's what he said. It's half this week against the Lions. That's not going to happen. I think Matt Verderame and I went over this on that football show. historically, the starters will play 3 drives in the second preseason game. That's how it goes, which equals out to about a quarter just because you usually get 12 drives a game. Mathematically, that's about a quarter. So really, if Andy Reid is just a week ahead of where he is going to say how much time, like if he would have said a quarter this week, he'd probably be telling the truth. He doesn't do that. He does not do that.
No.
And it is a pretty big lie. Here's a question from Wing. Shout out Wing. Thank you for your question. With Hollywood possibly missing some time, what is the level of concern for the offense at the beginning of the season?
We'll go on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm assuming that seems to be the easiest. 1 to 11. I like 1 to 11. Way more fun that way. We'll do 1 to 11. 3. Like, I'm not that concerned.
Yep.
Rashee Rice, I guess we're all assuming is going to be there now.
Truthfully, what a turn of events.
I'd be shocked. It looks more like 2025. Maybe middle of the season. Who knows? The NFL is just they're shooting from the hip in regards to this stuff. They don't even know. They're just They get around in a room with a dartboard. They have a couple of shots of beer, or a couple of shots of whiskey, and start throwing darts at the board. Whatever sticks, that's a suspension. That's what it seems like, at least. I'm not super concerned. This is good news for McCole. I think McCole Hardman was break in case of emergency. He was the insurance policy, if you will. I actually had him on the outside looking in until the injury. And the injury happened. Now I think he's probably the guy, at least early on, that benefits most from Hollywood going down. Rashee Rice will obviously be on the field a ton. Maybe more 12 personnel, but obviously they trust Justin Watson a ton. I feel like he's almost a name that gets thrown by the wayside. And then again, Xavier Worthy, smart guy, very intelligent. Love what he did at Texas his freshman year. That tells me a lot, right? That's awesome. It's Andy Reid. It's a rookie. There'll still be a slight learning curve here, no matter how smart dude is. Yeah. So I'm not really worried. I mean, they won the Super Bowl last year with an atrocity at the wide receiver group. Even without Hollywood, this is a vast improvement. So I'll say 3.
I think
out
that's
of 11.
Out of 11, yeah. I'm glad that you changed the cap for your number. I do think that that's appropriate. I am a little disappointed. I was excited for Hollywood Brown in this offense. Going up to camp every day, you can see how much how much his involvement in the offense has grown, number one, but how quickly he was already involved in the offense was something that was oh, all right, that he's the safety valve. That's what Patrick is looking for. It's read 1, read 2, Hollywood. Type of deal. So that was really interesting, that development there. So him getting hurt is a little disappointing when it comes to that. And I'm sure Hollywood's disappointed too. It's a contract year for him, 1-year deal for him, and he wants to be out there every game he can to get himself a bag because wide receivers are getting absolutely paid right now. And if he goes out with Patrick Mahomes, has a really good year, he's probably gonna have some generational wealth that he can spread around. If he said, look, I'm going into a contract year. You know who I want as my quarterback? 15. That's who I want as my quarterback. It makes all the sense in the world. But yeah, you're right. I think McCole does benefit the most from this. Truthfully, Sterling, I thought that McCole was really already in. I almost considered him a lock just because of, if you're McCole Hardman, why are you signing with the Chiefs if you don't already have a roster spot? I mean, he said that he had other options, but who knows if he really did. Players lie.
He got basically released from the Jets. And the Jets needed wide receiver help last year.
Yeah. That is true.
Players will always think their market is more robust than it actually is. I'm not saying he wouldn't lay in on another team. I'm not saying no other team would take a chance on him, but that team might be the Panthers. That team might be the Patriots. It's not going to be San Fran or the Eagles or another playoff contending team.
That's very true. And I do think what is funny when you start to look at this wide receiver room, Sterling, McCole Hardman has the most experience in this offense in this wide receiver room.
Oh, yeah, he's a fine player. Yeah, he's a fine player. He's a floor raiser. That's why he was my insurance policy. Hollywood, Xavier, Rice, Watson, I think were locks. Mm-hmm. I think those 4 were kind of the okay. Those guys you can write and pin. Then I only had, before the injury, only had 6 wide receivers. Gotcha. And I went with Dave Toub getting his guy, Nico Remigio, on just because of special teams. I think with the new special teams, as we have seen, it's paramount, more important than ever before. So I think Dave Toub gets more of his guys. So I went with him. And then for the 5th spot, before, again, the injury, Not saying what I want, not saying what I would personally do, but what I had been hearing was Sky Moore. He obviously has 2 years left in the rookie contract. I know it's a sunk cost technically, but still, it's one of those situations where I again, not necessarily what I would do, but what I had heard was Sky was pretty much making the team, so he was my 5. And then with the injury to Hollywood, not long enough. Obviously, you don't want to put him in the IR. That means you're out for the year at this point.
Right.
Now on the PUP list, so he's going to be there, probably missing 2 games. Regular season games is my estimation here, which puts him back for the Falcons game week 3. That means you're going to keep 7 wide receivers most likely, and that opened up the door for McColl.
There it is. Next question here from H2 Okie Stone. That's a good name. That's a strong. We got some good names here in the KCSN Discord. Some strong names. H2O Okie Stone. They ask, what are the chances of Justin Reid getting a new contract with the Chiefs? This question is really interesting, especially after how Jaden Hicks performed in the first preseason game. Sterling, what do you think about Justin Reid getting a new contract in KC?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 11 again, of course, 2. I think very low. I love Justin Reid. This is not a knock on him. I love Justin Reid. He helped change the defense.
Yep.
Like, as good as Tyrann Mathieu was, the business decisions, maybe the lack of physicality his last year, the Chiefs needed to get someone who was a tone setter. Nick Bolton was part of that. At the linebacker room, he's a tone setter. But in the secondary, that's Justin Reid.
Yeah.
And I've said perpetually that he has more value than PFF wants to make you believe. Like, Justin Reid is much better or more valuable to the Chiefs team than some of the analytical nerds, which I kind of am one, more so in baseball and football, want you to believe. Reid has a lot of value. The issue is, I think he's pricing himself out of Kansas City. The Chiefs have seemingly drafted his apprentice in Jaden Hicks. They already have Brian Cook, and this is kind of how they roll at safety. They might bring a veteran in on a under-market deal. Tyrann Mathieu, I don't know if you consider under-market, but for what the value he provided it was. Justin Reid, it was a relatively large safety contract, but he's outperformed that, I would have to say. So I think this was his, hey, I'll sign for 3 years. Looks like he might win 3 Super Bowls and ride off into the sunset. But I think Jaden Hicks is the replacement. Shamari Connor obviously still there. Brian Cook still there. Dave Merritt and Spags are just so damn good at developing talent in the secondary. How do you find it justifiable to pay that?
Right. 5th highest cap hit on the Chiefs this year, going into this year. Next year, he obviously is a UDFA, but a lot of people talked about, too, his injury. His injury that he had coming into camp, non-football injury, added to that list beforehand. This kind of goes into a question that was asked by, let me check who it was that asked a question here about Justin Simmons, but as we're recording this podcast, Justin Simmons just signed with the Falcons. 1 year, $8 million, I believe. Would you have paid that for Justin Simmons?
Well, not how the Chiefs are constructed. To make.
Okay, let me rephrase that. If Justin Reid was actually hurt longer than, like, what people were expecting Justin Simmons or Justin Reid to be out for maybe a couple games to start the season, would you have paid Justin?
No. It would have to be like 12 plus games or more.
Gotcha.
No, I mean, what do we do? Justin Reid's the 5th highest cap hit on the team. Then you're going to pay $8 million for Justin Simmons. What are we doing here? You have Jaden Hicks. You have Shamari Connor. Shamari Connor could drop back into play the safety instead of the slot corner if he really wanted to. Like, you're not paying that much money to one position, and quite frankly, it's maybe one of the least valuable. It's almost like the running back almost of the defense. Again, there's value to it. Like people that say running backs don't matter. Okay, then you go ahead and rock Darwin versus CMC. Tell me there's not a difference.
Throwback to Darwin Thompson. Is he still in the league? Is he still kicking it?
I hope the D-Train is. Good for him.
I hope so too. A little undersized, but look, size doesn't matter. Justin Simmons, his $8 million deal, 7.5 of it guaranteed. So he got all but $500,000 of it guaranteed. Incredible. Shout out to his agent for that, which is Athletes First, according to the tweet that Adam Schefter sent out. Going to the Falcons after the Falcons also just traded for Matthew Judon. What are they cooking in Atlanta? That's a question from me on 21 Questions. That's added to the total, Sterling. What are they cooking in Atlanta?
A NFC South championship, which isn't saying a lot, but they had already, in my opinion, wrapped up the NFC South title when they brought in Kirk Cousins. right? But the NFC really is top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You have San Fran. They're elite.
Right.
You have the Eagles just below them, but a very well-constructed team. Then you have some, can they, I don't want to say unknowns, but can they take the next step? The Packers, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
I don't put the Bears in there yet. I want to at least see it a year. I mean, I think the Bears will be solid, but they're not, it's not some insurmountable team. Like, it's fairly wide open, top 4. You're probably going to get a bye because you're going to win your division. The Falcons are basically saying, hey, let's go for it. We have Kirk Cousins for at least 2 years, probably 2 years, right? Because you drafted Michael Penix, so it's a 4-year contract, but they can get out after 2. Bring in Judon. NFC's not great. Let's go for it. I love what the Falcons have done.
Yeah, especially in their division. Their division is not good. Historically bad. Worse than the AFC West. Because they don't have the Chiefs in it. And I do think that what the Falcons are doing is exciting. Their drafting did not make sense. But they're trying to make up for it here, I think. And when it comes to making these moves, as camps wrap up around the league, like, look, that for Justin Simmons, huge deal for him. He doesn't have to go to training camp. You're looking at that, and like Stephon Gilmore is a name that was getting passed around in some of the group chats today. He's like, this would be a perfect day because guess what? He doesn't have to go to St. Joe. It'd be a perfect day for him to sign with Kansas City because he doesn't have to report to St. Joe. That'd be great for him. Great savvy vet coming on in and adding some reliable depth. Really twisted my tongue on that one, but yeah, look, if Stephon Gilmore wanted to be in Kansas City, I don't think I would say no, certainly.
I'd be intrigued. I think at some point...
They have like $15 million open, right? Like, how much would you pay?
That's what it... I mean, the name sometimes will always outweigh production. That's kind of how it goes in the NFL, almost in any sport. And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's washed. I'm just saying I think people think of Stephon Gilmore, they think all-pro Stephon Gilmore. They think lockdown corner. I think you're probably looking more at a solid, maybe a CB2. But that's kind of what the Chiefs need right now is someone to take that CB2 role. Is he 33?
I've just pulling it up right now. The page is loading. Yes, he's 33. He's almost 34. In September, He'll be 34.
It's one of those situations where is a 34-year-old Stephon Gilmore bringing you more impactful results than the combination of Josh Williams and Jalen Watson. And then you also have to think of it is going to be a 1-year deal. Obviously, you're going in for the three-peat. Let's be real now. You're going for the three-peat. But that means you're probably going to lose one of your corners who either you drafted, because you're not getting everyone to the practice squad. Someone's getting picked up. You're not going to let go of Williams or Watson, so those guys are fine. But of the Najee Johnsons, the Echo Boydos, the Kamal Haddons, the Kelvin Joseph, I mean, again, are you okay if you lose any of those guys? Sure. But do you think any of those guys could be something in the future, like Echo Boydo or Najee Johnson or Kamal Haddon, or one of those projects worth it in the future to lose them when you might be able to get similar production from the combo of Watson and Williams versus Gilmore? Again, I would talk myself into it either way.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
With him currently not on the Chiefs team, I'm saying Watson, Williams, the plethora of dudes who are wide receiver 3s can find a way to have the aggregate of CB2 production, which they did last year.
No, absolutely. I think so too, but like if they wanted to sign him for like $5 million.
1 for 5 was exactly what I was thinking. I would also be like, okay, fine, I'll talk myself into why this is a great move.
Right. Yeah. And they'd still have $10 million of cap left over.
To give to you and me.
Yes. So we can split it between us. That would be nice. I did look at Spot Tracks. They have Stephon Gilmore at $9 million. I think that's a little rich at this point. I don't think he'll get that at this point in free agency. We will see. We will see if he plays football at all this year. I think that'll be really interesting to monitor where he goes. Look, we got a good, healthy defensive backfield talking right there. That was good. That was a good 15 minutes worth, it feels like, of defensive back talk. We're going to take a break. But first, before we take a break, I got to tell you about our friends at Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer. Really great organization and really glad to be partnering with them. And what they do is very cool. But so they sent us some statistics to talk about on this podcast. And I thought it was wild that 47 children are diagnosed with cancer every single day in the U.S. alone. Like, That's just in the United States. That's not talking about around the world. The United States alone, 47 children. And at Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer, we're working to make a difference in the fight against childhood cancer. Braden's Hope funds cutting-edge research to find cures and safer, more targeted treatments for childhood cancers. But they cannot do it alone. If you donate to those places for cancer research, only 4% of that money goes to childhood cancer research. So Braden's Hope specifically designed for childhood cancers, finding those researchers. And you can join them in the fight against childhood cancer. Your support can bring hope to families and save lives. Visit bradenshope.org to learn more and get involved. Together, we can make a difference. All right, Sterling, we're going to take a break. I've got some texts from the KCSN hotline we're going to get to. We got a lot of questions on the KCSN hotline we're going to get to right after this.
We appreciate you supporting KC Sports Network by listening to our podcast. You have helped us become the highest-ranked Chiefs podcast network in 2022 and 2023. And don't forget about our daily Substack newsletter, the best written analysis you can find on the Chiefs straight to your inbox every day. kcsn.substack.com.
With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone in any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts with you. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSN21. That's mintmobile.com/KCSN21. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSN21. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And speaking of Mint Mobile, we got the Mint Mobile hotline, KCSN hotline, powered by Mint Mobile. 913-407-6524. You can text me on this here's phone. I have it right there. I don't want to show you the text, but I got it right there. I'm going to read these questions.
Why can't you show us the text?
Oh, I can show you the text, I guess.
Why can't you show me the text there?
I'm going to read it. I'm about to read it on the air, so I guess I could show it to you. I will respond.
Way I get these nice little sounders over here. Oh, yeah.
That is so sick.
Yeah, I upped up my game over here. Like, I can just, anytime you say something silly, I can just, something sad. Yeah, I got you.
I did notice you had a new mic.
Yeah, I'm classy now.
You've got full podcaster now.
Oh, I can sit here and say, dude, what the talking about, guy? Like, I look at this. Yeah, man.
I'm really proud of you. I know how big of a step that is for you because you're not very technologically savvy.
Thank you. See, no one knows. Intern Tucker to help me so much.
Also, Sterling, let's squash it. I've heard this narrative a couple times. Some people have asked me, they said, oh, I heard you don't like Sterling. I was like, well, people are saying that I don't like you. I don't know where that's coming from. Kent Swanson said that. And I said,
oh, why did Kent say that?
Well, it's probably because Briscoe and you have started your beef, right? And we've got a question about this.
Wait, why do Briscoe and I have beef?
Well, he said, this question is from Lee, and he said, we'll roll into this, then I'll get into the hotline. Lee,
I don't think I have beef with anyone. Now, this is old news to me.
So, you know how Josh does the fake beefs, right?
Sure.
People think that he started a fake beef with you, a feud with you. People think so. Lee 87 says, who do you think Josh Briscoe's next feud will be with? Since his legendary one with Kent, and he also said a week ago it's with Sterling. So, I guess Josh said he had a feud with you.
I have a feud?
You don't have to feud with me. We're cool.
Do I need to get a old-time pistol so we can duel or something?
Ooh,
what? I feel like I'm such a nice fella. I
really are. I don't know. I don't know why people
beef with me.
Thought maybe people thought because Josh said he had a fake feud with you that I was just automatically siding with Josh. Man,
I didn't even
people
know I had a
just assume
fake feud, and I didn't know that you and I apparently had a feud.
that. Neither did I until Kim brought it up.
Why do you hate me?
I don't.
Come on, let's talk about it. I'm your therapist, Tucker. Why? Question 1. Why do you hate me?
Sterling, I don't think I do. I think I hate myself.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Thank you.
Kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, the hearts after that. All right, I'm sure people who've tuned in for Chiefs Talk are probably like, "What are these two guys talking about? These guys are fighting on the air." Well, I'll get to your real question. This one, I believe, was from the 316. I don't know what area code that is, but shout out. Thanks for your text. Do you know that off the top of your head, Sterling?
316 sounds familiar.
I think it's got to be like Omaha. That's my guess. Nebraska.
Wichita. Yeah, Wichita.
From the 316. Chiefs question. Where would you set the odds that they pick up a veteran running back prior to week 1? 1 to 11.
I'm thinking.
That's okay. You can think. I haven't told Sterling a single question. I did not prep him at all for any of these questions.
You think I get prepped? No. All the top off the dome. 3.5 out of 11.
Okay.
I think they're pretty content with Pacheco, obviously. I think Carson Steele's making this team, and I think he's more running back than fullback. I think if Dude, it's like the whole, because Dude's white, I feel like he's a fullback. It's like, what? He's never played fullback before. He played running back in college. He's talking about how he's have to learn. I was like, well, you see the unofficial depth chart. He's learning fullback.
Right, correct.
But, he's a running back first and foremost. Yes. What? What are we doing here? Really first one in, last one out kind of guy. It's just like, dude, what are we doing here? He's a bleeping athlete. Do you see him truck some guys? He's a running back first.
He's awesome,
fullback.
man.
He might be a lead blocker, but I don't think he's a fullback. So I think he's on the team. I think it kind of comes down to CEH and Deneric Prince for that final spot. CEH has missed practice all week with his, he's talked about it, mental health, which is kind of transitioned into a sickness. I feel for the guy. I really do. I'm glad that we're able to open up more and talk more about this. But in reality, we're talking about this illness, but with the opening up of mental health, we're treating it more like an actual injury, which is good, right?
Yes.
But part of me starts to think of, well, it is like an injury then. And because you're injured doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot on the team. Because the backup running back spot, you want availability. That's the most important thing is, can they be available? And right now, can the Chiefs count on Clyde? Maybe they're able to sneak him through the practice squad. Originally I said no, but now with all the opening up he has done, how many other teams are going to say, we want to take a chance? He also has 4 years accrued in the NFL, so I believe he can say no. There's some wiggle room there. So I'll say it's possible, but I think they have their 4 kind of laid out right now. I think Clyde's kind of the unknown, if you will.
I think that's very fair when it comes to Clyde and everything like that. I'm going to pull up, Sterling, some available running backs right now because...
Yeah, they're not great.
Correct. The market is very thin. Damian Harris, Kareem Hunt. Look, before people in the comment section start talking about Kareem Hunt's never coming back to Kansas City. He's not. He's not going to do it. I don't think the Chiefs would.
Oh, no, he would do it.
Correct. He would do it. I don't think the Chiefs want him back at all.
Yes.
Let's make that perfectly clear. And I know I can see in the comment section already. Kareem Hunt should be on the team. No. Latavius Murray. He's also old. He's 34 and a half. Jerick McKinnon still out there. Maybe do you kick the tires on Jet, you think? You think you kick the tires when you start to look at this room and you're like, okay.
I mean, you need some kick him, but I'm fine. I think Carson Steele's a guy who, if it's an obvious passing down situation, you can throw him in there because he's almost like the Mahomes bodyguard. Again, I don't typically get excited by preseason OTA training camp hype. I try and keep a level head. And when everyone's going off on someone, I'm to be like, let's pump the brakes. Carson Steele was the first guy, but I've been like, even earlier on, it was after the first preseason game where I go, all right, I see something here. Like I'm thoroughly intrigued, and I think he can do this. I think you maybe can take a look at McKinnon. And again, maybe Prince. I think Prince right now is the odd man. Like I think it goes Pacheco, maybe even Steele at this point. With the unknowns with CEH and kind of Deneric Prince has really lost a little luster, feels like. So
I would agree with you. That's how the reps have been split up.
Yeah.
I mean, Steele is running with the ones. Like Steele is getting first team carries. Obviously the first team running back or the running back split time. And I read the stat the other day. It's like 3.71 games that starting running backs missed last year. Starting running backs missed. So like your starting running back's going to miss at least 3 games. So you're going to have a good backup. That's a very important position. This question from Lee87 in the Discord. Question number 2. His first question was obviously about apparently everyone hating you that you just found out.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Come on, Lee. Get with it. Question 2. Seeing Taylor go down on Saturday, how scared are you about the O-line depth and it surviving through a Super Bowl run? That wasn't Saturday, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
1 to 11?
Yep, 1 to 11.
2.5. I think the Chiefs' offensive line depth is phenomenal. I'm really not nervous. I know Hunter Norzad looked atrocious early on. That second group as a whole looked real bad.
Sure.
I'm not too worried. Maybe I should be more worried. I just am not. I think the starting 5's really damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Thuney, Creed, Trey, Juwan Taylor, hopefully, again, good without the penalties, so let's hope the penalties subside. And then Kingsley Suamataia has been, from all accounts, exactly what the Chiefs needed.
Yep.
So that's great. I'm not saying he's an all-pro left tackle, but I'm saying can he be what Donovan Smith was last year? Yeah, he can be what Donovan Smith was last year. Then backups, I like Wanya Morse a lot. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows my affinity for him, so I'm very comfortable with him as a backup at multiple positions. Niang is your right tackle backup, or even right guard potentially. Hunter Norzad is your, I think, backup center. And I think Caliendo is your first guard off the bench, who I think the Chiefs trust Caliendo. Yeah. That's 9 guys. If you want to throw C.J. Hansen, if you don't think he makes it through waivers, that the Chiefs could carry 10 on the 53-man, okay. I think they're going to probably try and sneak C.J. Hansen onto the PS. It's hard because if you assume Joe Thuney's gone and Trey Smith is gone, then you're sitting here going, you have 2 guard spots to fill next year. Maybe you want to try and keep keep C.J. Hansen. We'll see. But as far as this upcoming season, I love the depth, so I'll say 2.5 out of 11.
I think it's really interesting when you talk about Kingsley Suamataia. He's the only one on that offensive line that's not like cross-training positions.
Yeah, Andy was pretty. That was a great question when it was. You can do the same. They're asked about Wanya. He's playing, left tackle, left guard. He's like, yeah, we want to cross, make sure he's comfortable. Just see what he has there.
Right.
Well, what about Kingsley? Oh, no. He's fine there. He's good there.
Nah, he's good. He's fine. It'll be all right. I did think that was very funny. I looked up a question from the text line, and this was the question that I was thinking of earlier. We were talking about Justin Simmons. Shout out to this guy from the 816. It was about Justin Simmons still available. Why not sign him on a 1-year deal? We did already talk about that, so I want to give you a shout out for asking that question. This one's from Jordan Screen from the 515. What do you think that is? What do you think 515 is?
515.
I'm guessing Arkansas.
I was thinking Arkansas. Dang. I'll go, what's 515 area code? Go Omaha. North Central Iowa.
Huh. Well, shout out Jordan from North Central Iowa giving us this question. If the Vikings came asking about Carson Wentz, Sterling, what do you think the trade price would be, and would the Chiefs consider it?
I don't think the Vikings come anywhere. They got Sam Darnold. That's their Carson Wentz. Sam Darnold's been recently better than Carson Wentz in the NFL. Do you see the contrast?
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, again, let's be real. I like Carson Wentz. He's a great backup, I think, to Mahomes. Like, it makes sense. But Carson Wentz and Andy don't go to the Vikings. It's just Carson Wentz. Like, you don't get Andy Reid to help him there. One, I don't think they even would approach Carson. Two, would the Chiefs? Maybe. I mean, if they got even like a 6th rounder, I think the Chiefs would probably do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just value the backup quarterback that much. They love veterans, obviously. They bring in these guys every single year, but I feel like if Carson all of a sudden left, they'd be like, okay, we'll call Blaine Gabbert yet again. We'll find Chase Daniel. I know you've been retired a few years. Come swing by. Like, maybe it's Oladokun. I doubtful, but like,
it's not Ian Book. I'll tell you that right now. As Ian Book's fan, it's not him.
I think even a 6th round of the Chiefs would probably realistically do it. Mets just a free draft pick.
Yeah. That's just good business right there.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Chiefs value the backup quarterback that much, obviously based on the veteran leadership. That's a trait that they covet. But
yeah, he's the best backup quarterback they've had in the Mahomes era. He's better than He's better than Chad Henne.
Well, he's better than Henne, but is he better than, like, I think Blaine Gabbert, who's kind of...
Blaine Gabbert's kind of loose cannon.
Well, yeah, but I'm team loose cannon. Danger zone. No, I just...
Really was, man.
I feel like we keep talking about, like, 2018 Carson Wentz. It's like Josh Gordon.
What a time. I forgot about that time as
I told everyone to stop getting hyped about it, and everyone's like, you're an idiot. Do you see what he did with the Browns? I'm like, yes, I did 6 years ago. Like, I was way more athletic 6 years ago, too. Like, look at yourself 6 years ago. See the difference in your body. I get it. We're not professional athletes, but game don't stop for these dudes. Game progresses.
I really did forget about Josh Gordon being on this team. That's incredible. That was time. All right, more questions here from the KCSN Discord. I already got the KCSN hotline. Obviously, you can text us at 913-407-6524. That's Trey Smith Sky Moore. If you want to think of it that way, that's how I remember it. 6524. Arrow Daniels for Heisman. He must be a Kansas fan. Is training camp overrated, underrated, or properly rated? Sterling?
Great question. Really good question. Just for that question, I'll go out to KU football Tuesday. I'm going to KU football Tuesday. We're doing a remote out there. It's going to pain me as a Mizzou fan, but as a college football fan, they're a fun team. I ripped the over for them this year, by the way.
What was that set up, by the way?
I think it was 8.5.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of low.
I don't believe the Big 12 that much outside of those two teams, and correct. Arizona's got a lot of talent, but in Utah. I digress.
They don't have to play Utah, though.
I digress, Tucker.
Sorry.
I digress.
Sorry.
I digest. Just had some food. All right. Properly rated. Properly rated, because I think people in Chiefs Kingdom, we rate it pretty fairly. I think some of the people that get like over the top, Justin Ross, Bobby Scipio, all that stuff, pump the brakes a little bit. But I think the majority of Chiefs fans understand the value of training camp. Quite frankly, I think other teams around the NFL are starting to understand the value of training camp. It seems like every single free agent that comes to Kansas City understands this is a lot different training camp than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's physical. It's long. You're in St. Joe. It's hot. They win. The Chiefs bleeping win. When you're hoisting Lombardies and you're winning 10-plus games seemingly every single year, it works. Like, I remember talking to Richie James about it last year. Richie, it's different, but I wouldn't change it. Like, it works. I think it's properly valued because the Chiefs are always having the hardest training camp with no wasted movement.
Mm-hmm.
And they play their starters in the preseason, at least a little bit. And I love the whole thing now. New teams are like, there's this new phenomenon where teams are starting to play their starters in the preseason. And Andy's got to be sitting back going like, I knew. Like, it's just copycat. It's a copycat league. They see what the Chiefs have done. They're trying to copy the Chiefs' method now, but there's only one Kansas City Chiefs.
Matt Verderame and I, again, I'm going to reference the show that we just did this past week on that football show, talked about this. And because, Matt goes around to all these different camps, so he gets to see firsthand, like, how different practices are ran. And he's clear that, like, the Chiefs are a better run team than, like, a lot of the teams in the NFL, how they run practice. From a fan's perspective of training camp, the experience of going, I think it is one of those opportunities that, like, I understand it's in the middle of the week, in the summer. If you get to go, it's hot too. A lot of the times, like this year, we had pretty good weather for camp. Truthfully, there was only a couple, maybe a week that was like hot and kind of unbearable. But other than that, like you had pretty decent weather. I think from a fan's perspective, you should find the time to go up there, spend the $5 on parking, free admission 95% of the time you go up there, just to see 15 throw a football. I mean, if you have the opportunity to watch the greatest to ever do it, practice for a little bit, I think that is an opportunity that you should take advantage of at least one time. At least one time, I employ everyone to go up to St. Joe and just watch Patrick Mahomes practice. Like it's clear that he's the best of all time. Truthfully, I'm ready to say it. I was arguing with people in Indianapolis already about it. I guess that was after he won the Super Bowl, but I had the Dukes up. I had the Dukes up in old Prime 47 defending Patrick Mahomes' honor. That is as if he needed me to defend his honor.
Yeah, he needs you, Tuck. He needs you.
I had the sword. I was taking up the sword. It's the Jon Snow gif, where he just pulls the sword out and all the... No.
I don't.
No Game of Thrones?
Didn't watch it.
Well.
I guess now maybe we do have beef. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just going to say don't start now. And see, you're already that far gone, you just got to lean into it. Last couple questions here, not football related. So exhale, Sterling, not football related. This is from Tank the Frank.
Great name.
Good name, by the way. If you are making a guide for a successful tailgate for any sporting event, what is the first food option on your list?
Busch Light.
See, I agree with you. Like, I agree it's beer. I've been dabbling in the Coors Light recently because I think it's because I have a very simple brain and I see the mountain turn blue and I'm like, I like that.
I miss when Coors Light had like the wide mouth can.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the vent. And then how do I know my beer's cold? Do I use either touch? I can use taste? No, let me use sight to tell when my beer is cold. Like, I'm like, what? Are Coors Light drinkers like, we got to help you out over here, guys. Like, bro, they can't tell when anything.
That's what I'm saying. That's
beer.
Catered to me. Yeah.
Catered to the Tuckers of the world.
Catered to me. I do think beer is the number one on it. Also, Miller Lite's Vortex bottle. We cannot.
Oh, the Vortex bottle, yeah.
We cannot go on and leave that out when we're talking about different beer innovations. The Vortex bottle was incredible.
If I only had to have one food, and this might be blasphemous, but I think it's the easiest one.
Okay.
Good brats.
I do love a good brat.
And the reason being is easy to cook.
Yes.
Easy clean.
Yep.
You can't mess it up really cooking it. Like, if you got a brisket, I've had bad brisket.
Oh, yeah.
I've had many a bad rib.
Oh.
I've had maybe you can make wings. I can make an argument, but wings are really messy.
Mm-hmm.
But with wings, you don't have to bring buns or anything, so that's also a caveat.
True.
I think brats are the easiest to do because they're the easiest to cook. But if you're with a seasoned pit master, I'd go pulled pork.
Yeah. It's got to be handhelds, though, at a tailgate, too, as a part of it. Like, I was just saying pulled pork, you put it in a bun. Handheld.
You put it in a bun.
Yeah, handheld. I think that...
Full pig. Luau.
The pig that's buried under the ground, and then you pull it up. That's a tailgate right there. That's a long tailgate. I'm with you though on brats. Very big fan of brats. I'm a very big hot dog guy. I've made that clear on Twitter. I like hot dogs. Sue me.
Oh, I do too. They're great.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good hot dog. Costco hot dogs, incredible.
you don't like hot dogs, I think you're a liar. Like, just admit it. You like them. Everyone likes them. We're American. What's more American than having zero idea what you're eating?
Yeah.
USA, baby. USA. It's a hot dog eating contest. We have one of the country's most prized possessions. To stick it to the British is we will crush more hot dogs than you.
Yeah.
And we'll have AC because what
Yeah.
are they doing over there?
I could not live. I sweat too much. Big guy.
Grow up, UK.
Yeah, grow up. This one's from Casey and Casey. Let's round it up with this one. Most memorable barbecue meal in KC of your life. He throws in Arthur Bryant's in 1965. My family brought several pounds of meat wrapped in newspaper and we feasted at home. Do you have a most memorable barbecue moment? Or meal?
Oh, I got a couple probably. One of mine was Arthur Bryant's. When I skipped school, senior year, we were all skipping school. We weren't supposed to go out for lunch, but they're going to stop us? No,
Right.
They're not going to stop you. Yeah. So we would leave for school. We went to Arthur Bryant's, and I realized I had a test.
Ooh.
Came back after Arthur Bryant's, told the teacher that, sorry, I got stuck studying in the library. What am I doing studying in the library? I never stepped foot in the library. And she was like, well, what's your grade in the class overall? I'm like, I don't know, like a 94. And she's like, I'll just give you a 94. I'm like, oh, wow, that worked. So that was pretty memorable because the food was delicious. And then I had that happen to me. So that was cool. I still think maybe the best, though, is anytime you get Gates and it's the good Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Gates isn't always the most consistent.
Very true.
That's fair. I'll own that.
It's tough. Barbecue's tough to get consistent. That's how you know
It's
a very good barbecue spot is the consistency. But
when you get the burn-ins or the beef nooner with the Gates extra hot sauce with them pickles that are tangy and you get the extra crispy fries, oh my gosh, do you get transported. Like that's the top tier sandwich when it's done correctly. When you get a good one,
yep.
You got to order burn-ins or beef nooner, lean as. Eat that. It's gonna be incredible more times than not.
I do love barbecue. It's very good. I'm glad Kansas City's good at it because I do love it. Couple stories from me that I think of is one of the first times that I was in college and I had some buddies from out of state, right? I went to Northwest Missouri State University, not too far, right, from Kansas City, probably about an hour, 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more, hour 25, hour and a half, let's call it round. Hour and a half from Kansas City, couple of buddies from Omaha, out of state, other side of the state. I was asking him, what's your favorite barbecue spot? My buddy from Omaha says Dickey's, and I said, well, that's a bad option. He's like, well, I've never really had a barbecue, and I said, you know what? Let's get in the car. So we get in the car after he tells me Dickey's is his favorite barbecue spot, and we drive to Kansas City Joe's. We drive to Joe's. I get him a Z-Man. He has the Z-Man, and he finishes it, goes up, and he orders another Z-Man. Because he said that was phenomenal. So now Kansas City Joe's is his favorite barbecue spot. I could not stand for Dickey's Barbecue Pit being somebody's favorite barbecue spot. And I said, we're fixing this right now. In college, when you have things to do, but you don't really have to do them. And it's just like, let's just get in the car and do something today. We just drove down.
Play. Ball players make ball plays.
Right. It was a game time decision. I said, has to be done. We did it. That's one of my favorite memories. And I do enjoy something else about barbecue is the community aspect of it, right? It feels like a lot of times I go get barbecue, it's with to catching up with people. I've had a lot of barbecue lunches with Josh Briscoe, other people in Chiefs Media as well. Yeah, see?
Yeah, I guess we do have beef.
You ever had... Maybe that's the feud right there, actually. Maybe the feud was barbecue all along.
Maybe the friends we didn't hang out with along the way. Franklin? Huh? Maybe it wasn't the friends we hung out with because I've never once got that call.
I'm about to talk to Josh in about an hour. That's a little behind the curtain there. Only Weird Games is about to start in about an hour here. So I'll tell him we got to go get a barbecue. But anyway, one of my favorite things that we do with barbecue is Kevin Flaherty, who also does the recruitment show on our college side of the network. It's not just KU. He also does the KU show as well. Started inviting me to his lunches that he would have at Chef Jay Barbecue. Buddy old pal. I don't know if you've had Chef Jay.
I've heard wonderful things, but I've not had it.
Tough time for you to get to it because of, you do a show from 10 to 2.
Yeah.
And they open at 11, and they usually sell out by 2. So
if you want to actually be in my good graces, Tucker, you could pick some up, bring him to me, and we will squash the beef.
there we go. That's a great idea. They're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they
Squash the beef, Tucker.
They
Bring
open.
me Chef Jay. We'll squash it.
Perfect. Will that compensate for the steak dinner I owe you? I thought about that the other day.
I forgot you owe me a steak dinner.
Yeah.
Dog.
We'll do both. We'll do both.
Are we going to make another bet this year so I can win more free bleep off you?
Ooh, maybe we should. Maybe we'll do another podcast prior to this.
Don't feel bad, Tucker. I went 6-0 last year in my season-long bets.
Really?
It was a sweep. Yeah.
You had a good year.
Yeah, I got some free bourbon from the Raiders guy I bet with. Oh, yeah, it was a great year.
That's a great year. Well, we'll think of something. We'll settle it on Twitter.
Thanks for reminding me that you owe me, by the way.
Yeah. No. I own up to that one. I got to own up to that one. I was very convinced that I was going to be right, too. So,
It wasn't even close.
No, it was not
It was a
close.
bloodbath.
Not close. For people who don't know, Sterling and I, prior to the season, made a bet that I had Calvin Ridley, you had Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Oh, yeah.
Total receiving yards on the season. I thought Calvin Ridley was going to have more than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Not close.
Yeah,
Amon-Ra St. Brown might have
horrible
missed
bet for you. Yeah, it was like 500 yards difference. I mean, like it was.
Yeah,
it was.
he missed
substantial.
more games than Calvin Ridley did too. Like
Yeah, there's no injury related.
yeah, no, it was. Calvin Ridley played in more games and he did not play well. Look, I overestimated how good Calvin Ridley was going to be.
Yeah, you did.
A little oversight on my part because he did, get suspended for a year. But
And Josh Gordon did. You Josh
did.
Gordon did. Yeah.
Happens to the best of us. But we'll squash the beef. We'll come up with another bet. We'll get it settled on Twitter, and we'll get things right before the season starts. Wouldn't be right if we didn't have a season long bet. I don't think, especially since last year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They probably won it because we had a bet not related to the team. So
They knew it.
They knew it.
They knew it.
They said they have a bet. It's not related to us at all. So we got to win the Super Bowl. But Sterling, appreciate you hopping on, joining me for 21 questions. Always a pleasure. Let people know where they can find you.
You can find me on the X at HomestretchKC. You can find a lot of the things I do on Sports Radio 810 WHB from 10 to 2 o'clock on there every single day, Monday to Friday. Arrowhead Addict, Stacking the Box, a lot of stuff going on. But at HomestretchKC is the majority of where you'll find me.
That's Sterling Holmes. I'm Tucker Franklin. For 21 questions, thank you to Braden Silver for sponsoring this podcast, Mint Mobile as well. We will talk to you guys next week on another 21 questions. Enjoy the preseason game. We'll be live after it on Saturday. So make sure you are locked in to KC Sports Network.